It's loading. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Mike Check Tech 2 podcast.
Oh my God.
Brought to you by the Inside Edge Network. I am your host, the DAVID, the real Ruiz. To my right is everyone's favorite season, Autumn. Are you okay, Autumn?
No, this has been a hot mess. Hold on. Literally, my headphones went out completely. I could not hear a thing. I promise you, it clicked in and then it clicked out. So I'm going to reconnect my headphones really quickly.
What a way to start. Look,
I know, right?
At least you didn't punch your microphone when you started. Like the usual occasions. Are you good? Are we good?
Oh my God, yes, we're back. We're back.
Are we good? All right, we're good. We have a jam-packed show for you guys tonight. We have the NFL draft. We have some NFL scandals. We have Cavaliers, Guardians. We have a whole lot of stuff we got to break down and talk to you guys about. I think we're going to start off tonight with the NFL draft. Our Cleveland Browns picked sixth, and to unpopular opinion, 9. It depends on who you are. But Autumn, let's start off with the draft. We had number 1 pick, Francisco Mendoza. We knew the Raiders were going to pick Mendoza. He didn't attend the draft. He wanted to do it with his family in a more intimate session. What are your thoughts about how the draft format has been this year in Pittsburgh, with everything going on in Pittsburgh and things of that nature?
Well, I usually notice that I see more and more people are not attending the draft, which is like crazy, because people attending the draft was like a whole thing. And now more and more people are just doing it at home, more intimate situations. I know Francisco Mendoza, he did it because his mom and her health issues, which is okay. I'm all well and good with it. We all knew he was going number 1, even though it was like rumors that the Raiders were trying to trade out of number 1. But it makes sense that he's going there. I don't know what he's going to do there. The Raiders are a up and down franchise. They just fired another head coach.
Right.
We don't know what they fired. Pete Carroll of all people.
How do you feel about people saying they think, well, at least from what I've heard, saying since he's a little older going to the Raiders, they feel like he's going to be a bust? What's your opinion on that?
Well, he's not Brandon Weeden old. He's not 32. So when people say, oh, he's a little older, that's not really like something I care about. I mean, he's a little bit more seasoned. That's what you need. You need a guy who's a little bit more seasoned to kind of take the reins. So that means, and he's coming from a program that kind of built itself up to where now under him, they were the number 1 program. I don't know going forward if Indiana's going to be what it is and win a national championship again. But I don't know. Like, get the guy a chance.
What are we going to do? He has Brock Bowers as his number 1 option. They ended up not getting rid of Max Crosby on defense. So there's potential there. There's potential. With the number 2 pick, the New York Jets took edge rusher David Bailey. I was a little shocked. I thought they were going to go offense. Given there's a lot of holes on their defense, they got rid of Sauce Gardner and a couple other players like that. But I thought they were going to go offense. I feel like
I felt like quarterback probably again, what we thought.
But what quarterback was really in the draft besides Mendoza? We'll get to a little later, but we saw
you had Simpson.
Yeah, we saw the Rams go quarterback. Well, at 14.
You know who would have You know who it would have been so funny if they took him, and it would have been the most Jets thing if they took him, is if they
Who?
were like, "You know what? We saw Diego Pavia and we saw enough that we wanted."
Yeah.
That would have been so funny if they were like, "Ooh, we're gonna go quarterback here, but you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna go Diego Pavia."
Yeah.
That would have been hilarious.
Well, I'm sorry, I said 14, but the Rams took Simpson at 13.
Yeah.
Yeah, they need a quarterback. They need what are they going to do? Like they've come in and out every season thinking that the guy they have is the option, and it really just hasn't been the case. We're going to go next to number 3, which I really love this pick for the Arizona Cardinals. They went Jeremiah Love at number 3, running back Notre Dame. I really like Jeremiah Love. I didn't think he was going to go that early, but the Cardinals have a high-powered offense without, even though it's Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby Brissett, he can throw you for 400 yards, but he can't win the game. But they have they have Marvin Harrison if he comes back healthy. They have Michael Wilson, who had a breakout season after Wilson went down or Harrison went down. They had James Conner. I believe they still have James Conner as their running. They needed some more help there. Yeah, Love did go to the Cardinals. That's one of our Facebook comments. Love did go to the Cardinals, which is amazing. So they're going to have a really good offense. I feel like that. I think they're going to go running or quarterback later on in the draft because they have to. Jacoby can light it up, but he's not the answer. We saw that we saw that everywhere in his career. Even with Trey McBride, he was tight end 1 last year. In back-to-back years, Trey McBride's been tight end 1. So I really like what they're doing with that offense. The real hole is that quarterback position. Where can you see them going?
Honestly,
already off of the market.
Yeah, honestly, it's probably going to be a quarterback in the next round. They probably are expecting, as much as I hate to say this, I think they're probably going to go Carson Beck. Carson Beck is probably outside. Like, it's either you got to pick your poison. It's either Carson Beck or Diego Pavia. I'm going Carson Beck. We know Carson Beck can get you to the championship. Can he win you the game? Probably not. A lot of Georgia fans had a lot of issues with him not performing at Georgia very well, but then going to Miami and getting them to a national championship and playing as well as he did up until the national championship game. So I would say if they go quarterback, Carson Beck is probably their best bet. Because again, it's like it was Mendoza, it was Simpson, Carson Beck, Pavia.
Right.
So I don't know.
All right, we'll see. The number 4 pick was with the Tennessee Titans, and I feel like this pick changed the trajectory of the Cleveland Browns. They go Carnell Tate at number 4. I like Carnell Tate. I think that's a great pick. Cam Ward needs some help there. He came alive in the second half of the season for the Tennessee Titans, and they almost made a late playoff push. Almost. They were very close, but couldn't string together enough wins, and everything couldn't go right for them. But Carnell Tate there, a lot of people are giving him like criticism saying he's not going to be your number 1 guy, or he's a good route runner, but what does he bring? Look, Ohio State, if we've seen anything throughout the last,
how many
seasons?
Years? Yeah.
8 seasons have been producing quality.
Actually, no, you can say the last 20 years because you got to go back to Ted. You got to go back to Ted Ginn Jr. He's kind of the start of this whole like wide receiver university at Ohio State.
Right.
And ironically enough, Carnell Tate played under Ted Ginn Sr. with Glenville and Ginn Academy. So I think it's smart. I think it's smart. You got your quarterback. You need to give him some weapons.
I was going to stay away from Ted Ginn, especially what he's going through now and his legal troubles. So we were going to stay away from that a little bit. But even with like Olave, Marvin Harrison, we have these guys coming out of Ohio State that Emeka Egbuka.
Yeah. You got Jeremiah Smith that's going to come out next. So
he's coming out next year. And that's really exciting.
Yeah.
Even though I wish the Cleveland Browns would have a high enough pick next year to get him, I don't think we're going to be that lucky. But we'll see. That with that pick changed everything in the draft, I feel like. But moving on next, we have the New York Giants, Avril Reese, another edge rusher out of Ohio State. Ohio State had a lot of guys coming out early. What was it, 4 in the first 11 picks for Ohio State? That's huge. That's huge. We'll move on from the Giants. I think the Giants are going to be really good next year. I think they have a good base. We didn't get the Jackson Dart, Malik Neighbors experience due to injury, but I feel like next season we have a healthy Scadaboo, healthy Malik Neighbors, healthy Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart just needs to take a couple of tips away from what he learned from Scadaboo and stop leading with his head. You're a quarterback. You can run the ball. We know you got wheels. You got the arm. Stay healthy. The team needs you. Hopefully, Malik Neighbors' injury doesn't completely justify his career because that's 2 seasons in a row he doesn't produce a full season. Let's hope. Let's hope with the quarterback play he can produce.
And ACL injuries, are hard to come back from. They are really hard to come back from. And he tore his ACL, but luckily he tore it in the middle of the season, so he will be back by the beginning of the season. And I hate to say luckily because like tearing your ACL is already crazy, but to tear it in the middle of the season is even worse.
It's worse.
Oh, but
he didn't get the whole Dart experience.
No,
he didn't. And we saw what Wan'Dale Robinson did with Jackson Dart. Wan'Dale Robinson's not a star. He's not the number one guy. Jackson Dart made him look like the number one guy, which is pretty impressive. We'll move on from the New York Giants, from what everybody wants to hear us talk about, especially with our demographic. The Cleveland Browns trade the number 9 pick to the Kansas City Chiefs. Or I'm sorry, they trade for the number 9 pick, giving up number 6 to the Kansas City Chiefs. I knew this was going to happen. As crazy as it sounds, as soon as the Tennessee Titans drafted Carnell Tate, I actually texted a friend of mine. He's in our fantasy league, Leo, and I told him there's no other players we need at this pick. They're going to trade to Kansas City because it makes sense, and they'll go O-line. And that's exactly what they did. Given they didn't draft the O-lineman I thought they were at 9. But the Kansas City Chiefs end up drafting their cornerback after losing Trent McDuffie in the offseason. They knew exactly who they were going to draft. They spent no time on the clock, and they end up drafting Mansour Delaney. It's a good pick for them. Kansas City just keeps getting richer. How are you going to give the Kansas City the number 6 pick? I don't know. You know my take on the Kansas City Chiefs. We don't have to get into that again.
No,
but why allow the rich to get richer? They have Patrick Mahomes. They have Rashee Rice. They lose a star corner and just allow them to pick up another potential future Pro Bowler. What's your take on that?
They need to get younger. That's just the thing. If they're going to be more successful, if you're going to have Patrick Mahomes be your Tom Brady, the thing about Tom Brady is that he constantly had teammates that got younger, right? Mm-hmm. He had his Edelmans and his Amendolas and he had Moss and everything, but through his cycles, his teammates got younger. And you kind of have to still keep some youngness around the team, right? Mm-hmm. With Mahomes, we know he's good. We know he's elite. But I honestly thought that they may have gone tight end, but hey,
they don't need to.
That's in.
What did I tell you about the tight end?
You need someone to come in for after, like when he does eventually retire, and having someone come in and learn under him would be perfect. But honestly, like, hey. I was surprised at I kind of was, because if they wouldn't have picked Carnell Tate, I would have said they could have picked Jordan Tyson. Mm-hmm. But hey, they traded down and they got who they wanted.
Moving on, the Washington Commanders pick linebacker Sonny Styles, another Ohio State product. this is just speaking volumes to what Ohio State has been doing over the last couple seasons. Not only wide receivers, but with their defense. A lot of people had them favored to win the college football playoff. It didn't happen, but this speaks volume of the talent on their team and that they're going to keep producing in the future. I don't see this slowing down anytime soon. You mentioned Jeremiah Smith earlier. This is something we're going to continue to see with Ohio State, similar how LSU continue to produce those other star wide receivers, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Odell Beckham, Jarvis Landry. It's just going to keep going. Moving on, the New Orleans Saints picked an O-lineman, much needed O-lineman, even though they need a quarterback, in my opinion. But what are the New Orleans Saints going to do this year? They picked their O-line. What's next? What's next for them?
They just kind of need to get healthy. I mean, they were a team that they were right there. They were always right there. You know, Sean Payton leaves, Drew Brees leaves. They tried the what was his name? The quarterback who wasn't a quarterback. What's
Taysom Hill?
Yeah, they tried the Taysom Hill experiment. They had Jameis Winston there. They tried Derek Carr. That clearly didn't work out. And now they have a young quarterback who they drafted last season. They still have Alvin Kamara. I don't know how Alvin Kamara is still there. They still have Alvin Kamara.
Right.
It's just a team that they need to just get a little younger. They show some. I would say this: the couple seasons ago they showed some flash. No, this past season they showed some flash. It's just kind of like a transition period. You were good for a long time. You had some not so great years. Now you're kind of coming out of that recovery. So I expect them to kind of bounce back. I expect them to be in the middle. They're in the NFC South. That's kind of a super competitive division. Mm-hmm. So anything can happen. Look, I've seen teams in that NFC South somehow make it into the playoffs and they're under 500. Anything can happen in this league, for real.
Adam, would you like to announce who the Browns selected at number 9?
Yes, they selected Spencer Fano from Utah. He is an offensive tackle, which means their offensive line gets better, which was the Browns' biggest Achilles heel last season. Outside of their wide receiver core, they needed an offensive line. That offensive line was crazy injured. And of course they lost they didn't do this with Joe Bitonio. They lost Wyatt Teller. Joe Bitonio's been up and down. They really haven't had a mainstay since Joe Thomas, and this is the highest offensive lineman they've taken since Joe Thomas. So, hey.
It's huge. I thought they were going to go with the other offensive lineman, Francis. I don't want to butcher his name. He's another Samoan. The Francis Magua. Francis Magua. I always butcher his name. I thought they were going to go with him. But honestly, you can't go wrong with any Samoan offensive lineman. I feel like they all do great. They were all wearing their Ulafalas. It looked amazing. They were all our tribal chiefs. When they drafted him, I acknowledged him.
Look, any Samoan, I've never seen an entire nationality of people just be so good at football. I've never seen it. Junior Seau, Troy Polamalu, hell, even Manti before the whole catfishing scheme. Like, he was literally a Heisman Trophy candidate. Like,
isn't Tua Tagovailoa?
Well, and even then, yeah, he's not Samoan.
He's not Samoan.
Hawaii.
Okay. Thanks for the clarification. Yeah, but so we could keep going down the draft. I'm going to allow you to announce the second pick that the Cleveland Browns selected.
Yeah, they took Casey Concepcion from Texas A&M at wide receiver. They did need to get younger at wide receiver. Like I said, I think they should have probably taken Jason Tyson. That would have been really cool for him and his brother Jalen to play here. But you get a wide receiver from a school that was actually really good, that was in the playoffs this year. You needed to get younger. I'm glad that they looked at it and said, okay, we didn't get Carnell Tate. Okay, let's pivot to what we need. We need offensive line help. We need help in the wide receiver room. Let's take that. So now, with those two things out of the way, you can take your running backs. You can take I think they should take another wide receiver. I do think
too.
that. I think they do. They should take another wide receiver. You need to get that wide receiver room together. We saw we went to a game last year. We saw just how bad it truly was. Harold Fannin Jr. cannot be your only option.
He got hurt as soon as he caught the touchdown.
Yeah, and literally got hurt. We saw that Jerry Jeudy's not number one, so you gotta.
And I've already stated in the past, I didn't want the Browns to go defense at all this draft. Our defense is fine. Yeah, people are saying we have a lot of guys. They're getting up in age. They're getting older. Yes, all that is true. But one thing we've seen from the Browns the last couple seasons, our defense has been great. The issue is when we lose games because people end up blowing us out of the water because our secondary ends up giving up good plays like we saw against Houston in the playoffs. The problem is, look how long they're on the field. Give them time to rest. Give them time to breathe. Going all offense, even with the free agent pickups with the offensive line, we need all of that. We need everything. Go all offense. No one in Cleveland will be upset if you go all offense.
Yeah, I think they should kind of go all offense, maybe some defense, and really on defense, you should kind of look at the like areas where you think you're like the weakest in. Okay, for example, I do love Denzel Ward, fellow Clevelander, but he does have problems with staying healthy. I think last year was the first time in a very long time that we saw him stay on the field the entire season. Get a concussion, nothing.
Yeah.
Maybe a backup to him is what you really need, but address that offense. Address that offense because now, I mean, we've heard it for the last couple months now. You're having a quarterback competition, which stupid. Because what is Deshaun Watson going to show you?
Why is he getting first team reps?
Yeah, what is he going to show you? Like, he has literally been here for what now? Almost 4 years. What has he shown in almost 4 years that he's been here? Nothing.
He's played flashes. He's played under 16 games.
Yeah.
Tell him to kick rocks. It's time for him to go. I get what you're doing. You want to get the value. What is he? He gets another $30 million this year. You've already restructured his contract to give him all of these signing bonuses so you can evaluate new talent and get them out of the way. But realistically, he should no longer be on the roster. No, cut him. I thought they were going to cut him this year, and they didn't.
I thought they were going to cut him this season. I thought that they were probably going to cut him, maybe sign a veteran backup, maybe try to sign a Brissett again, or bring back a Jameis or something like that. But to give him first team reps is crazy. We saw that Shedeur has the ability, has the capability. If he would have got a decent amount of first team reps, the Browns probably would have won a couple more games. Again, we saw. Like, it wasn't really him. It was like you could tell towards the end of the season, he settled down. The nerves were kind of shaken off. Dillon Gabriel doesn't even deserve. I'm sorry. He doesn't even deserve nothing. Don't even put him anywhere near anything.
That was Kevin Stefanski's guy. That's the problem. That was his guy.
When people at Oregon was like, yeah, I don't even understand how he's in the draft. What do you mean? Like, people at Oregon were like, I don't understand how he's in the draft. And then he gets drafted in the second round, has like a 4-game span where he does absolutely nothing. Him and his fiance cause locker room turmoil.
Yeah.
Get that man away.
No. With all the tweets, what's with all the tweets from Dillon Gabriel's fiance? Or wife, whatever she is now.
Yeah, the fiance commenting and saying, well, everybody in the building wants him. Girl, rule number 1 of sports is if you are a spouse, do not talk about what's going on in the building. We all know that. Everybody knows that. Just shut up. Just look.
I don't think she can.
And I'm all for women speaking up when it comes to certain things. But certain things, girl, be quiet. Shut up.
We're going to move on a little bit from the NFL draft. We have round 2 tonight.
It's already been 3 picks so far. Well, 4 picks. We had.
You want to cover that really quick?
Yeah, Dazon De'Zhaun Stribling from Ole Miss went to San Francisco. Chase Business went. I don't understand these last names.
He's about his business.
Business went to the Cardinals. He's an offensive guard from Texas A&M. TJ Parker from Clemson is an edge rusher. He went to the Bills. And then Caden McDonald from Ohio State.
Another
tackle. Another one. I think this is what, the 5th or 6th player that's gone so far.
Yeah, I know 4 from Ohio State. 11.
Yeah, Caden McDonald. He went to the Texans on defensive tackle. So the Giants are up. The Browns haven't traded anything. The Raiders traded down to 6. And yeah, that's so far. And we'll probably update you throughout the show on what's going on.
We definitely will.
No, I think we should stick with football because we need to talk about the biggest football story right now.
The biggest football story.
And that is Dianna Russini and Mike Vrabel. So, okay, do you want me to do the deep dive? Because I've been there since day one.
You're all about the tea. This brings me back to your Lady Box days.
Okay. So the tea is, all right, let me just set the page. So about 3 weeks ago, Page Six. So Page Six is a gossip website column for the New York Post. So the New York Post, a big deal. I wouldn't take them very seriously. They're not really a good publication, but they have a whole gossip thing named Page Six, right? Because you would turn to Page Six. So Page Six comes out with these photos of Dianna Russini and Mike Vrabel. So Dianna Russini was a senior insider for the Athletic. She was kind of like an Adam Schefter, a Shams, an Ian Rappaport, like all of those people. Pictures of her and Mike Vrabel, the head coach of the Patriots, come out and they look very cozy. They're hugging, they're holding hands, they're by the pool, and they both come out and say, "Hey, like me and Dianna are just friends. We've known each other for quite some time," because Dianna actually started covering the Titans in 2018 when Mike became head coach. And then after they both said, "We are like happily married. Like we just saw each other. We were with 2 separate groups, whatever." The internet did not take that, and they were like, "That sounds like a bunch of bullshit." All right, let's do some deep dives. So they do deep dives into Dianna and Mike, specifically Dianna, which I had a problem with because I'm like, why is the woman getting all the shit in this? Because like Mike Vrabel is a much a part of it as she is. And so people start going into her marriage. They're like, "Oh, she's married to this guy who's like one of the execs at Shake Shack," and they're like, "Oh, the way she talks about him is absolutely insane." I've heard her talk about him. It's not insane. She talks like a married person, whatever.
I mean, but she would call him like average.
Yeah, like she just would be like, you could clearly tell it was like in certain contexts, like if you like cherry pick the clip, it's like, whoa, she hates her husband. But then if you hear the context, it's like, oh no, she just like is talking about like she's talking about how they have to get their kids ready for school. Like
no, absolutely not.
I've listened to her several times.
Talking about your significant other in a public setting like that, you don't go around and say, "Oh, he's average."
She said he's just an average guy from Philly, and plus he's not like he's not famous. He like, and then everybody was like, and then they found out that they were dating sort of around the Miami Super Bowl, and then like they were dating for a long time. Like she didn't really she didn't really expound on her social life, but I didn't know she was dating someone. Then she gets engaged. She got married, I'm gonna say in March of 2020. And then and she even explained it. She was like, "Yeah, we got married because our sister was getting married." And she was like, my mom was like, "Well, are you ever going to settle down?" And it was a pandemic. And she said her grandma was up in age, so she got married. So that's the whole thing. So then people start cherry picking her marriage. Then the Athletic comes out and is like, "Hey, we believe Dianna," because she's worked for the Athletic. "We believe Dianna. She is our reporter. These are baseless claims." But because of all the stuff on social media, people cherry picking all these clips, they were like, "You know what? We are going to do an investigation." So because they even uttered investigation, she was like, "You know what? I'm going to get ahead of this." And her contract was already up in June, so she resigned. You would have thought that was the end of it. I promise you it's not. So then Mike Vrabel, everybody's like, well, she resigned. Why isn't Mike Vrabel getting any smoke? Why isn't the league or the Patriots investigating this as well? And then people were like, well, it's a morality issue. It's not really like the Ime Udoka situation where he was actively having an affair with someone on his staff. It's more of like Diana's not working for the league. She's working with the league. Then over the last week, there have been sightings of them at this year's Columbine. There was a sighting of them 2 years ago when he got fired. There was another sighting of them 6 years ago, and they were kissing. And everybody's like, oh my God, this is a 6-year-long affair that they didn't expound on. Then they looked at clips of them two together, and they were talking about their his wife, and she was like, who's the better? Like, it was crazy. Then people find out what her son's name is. They find out her son's name is Michael Andrew. Mike Vrabel's name is Michael Andrew, and they're like, oh my God, who names their son after their secret boyfriend? So that's the Mike Vrabel Diana Russini tea that you need to know. It's crazy.
Actually, also,
today, TMZ came out and said, hey, the person who sold the photos originally to Page Six is not either of their spouses. And it was not a private investigator. Somebody just happened to see them there. And I'm like, everybody
That's messy. That's so messy.
It's really messy, because then people are like, did the Titans fire him in 2024 because they knew about this relationship? And then to cap it all off, Mike Vrabel came out yesterday, made a statement, and said he's going to take the weekend to be with his family, to do a counseling, and that's pretty much it.
So we actually have some of the audio from that press conference where he was addressing the media. That I'm talking about. We're going to play that now. We're going to have our producer Joel play that. So everybody stand by and get ready.
I want to address the news regarding my current situation. I understand that there are questions, but I take accountability for my actions and the actions that caused a distraction to the people that I care most about. My family, this football team, the organization, and our fans. My previous actions don't meet the standard that I hold myself to. They don't. And what I believe is best for the two most important things in my life, my family and this football team, is for us to take the necessary steps to work together and to give them what I told them I'd give them, which is the best version of me. And that's what we're going to do. And that's going to start, that has started, that'll continue this weekend, and it'll continue for however long it takes for me to give them and to complete that promise of giving them the best version of me possible. And that's what's going to happen, and that's what's been happening.
So that was just a short clip of the press conference. He's trying to take full accountability. Autumn, you know what it is to me? He was with the Tennessee Titans, and no one batted an eye. There's something about the New England Patriots and scandals that just line together so well. It's like the planets aligned for this to come out. It's like they almost need some kind of gate to stay mainstream. You just made it to the Super Bowl, right? You're doing all of these things. And then this comes out right after. What do we call this gate? It's not gate. It's not spy gate.
No, it's honestly, I don't even know what to call this. I forgot to mention something else. A reporter from the Boston Globe revealed today that apparently there's well known that these two were in a relationship or had some kind of nefarious relationship, and nobody expected it to ever come out. I think, in my humble opinion, that their partners knew about it. Their partners probably didn't care. Their partners probably said, just don't let it come out. And now that it's come out, I don't necessarily think anything's going to happen. Mike Vrabel's been with his wife for like 30 years, and their
Right.
kids are in their 20s. Diana and her husband have been together for a while now. Their kids are really young, so I don't think anything's gonna happen.
Maybe they have some kind of agreements to
Yeah,
like
that's to me.
you
To me,
guys
when
are
I
always
saw
on the road.
to me, when I saw the photos, I was like, and people were like, "Oh, and her husband doesn't know," and I'm like, guys, her and her husband probably have some kind of agreement. Like, it's 2026. Like, come
Vice
on,
versa.
monogamy, and especially in sports,
Oh, it's
monogamy
crazy.
in sports is not really a thing, like at all. Like most people, I'm gonna bring back the curtain, people.
Oh my gosh. Here we go.
Most people in professional sports are cheating. Almost every person you know, whether it's a coach or a player, is cheating.
Look, we're not gonna
Most,
name drop anyone here, but Autumn and I know someone specifically that had relationships. We're not gonna say with
I know
who.
it's not just even one person,
Former
David. I
ball
know
players. Oh yeah, we know.
we know half of a team. Look, I worked in restaurants. I've had friends in nightlife. I've been told several things. I've worked for an NBA franchise. None of these men are faithful, from the coaches to the players.
All we're gonna say is
So,
we've had physical proof of former Cleveland Browns quarterbacks, former Cleveland Indians or Guardians players.
David, I know
Some of
about
them are
Browns.
Eskimo brothers and they don't even know it.
I know about Browns players. I know about Guardians players. There was one player for the Cavs that I promise you, multiple girls I knew would be like, "Yeah, he's in my DMs. He offered to take me to a game," and it was the same guy. And I'm like, what are we doing? And then you go on his social media and he's having a really look. There was a Browns player. He's not in the league anymore. This is so hilarious. I love telling the story because it's really funny. One time I was on Tinder. This was back in the day, and I saw him and I'm like, I know your face because I saw you get engaged to your girlfriend, and he was on Tinder. Browns fans found out he was on Tinder. He did so badly that one time after a game, they were like, "You should go back on Tinder, bro. Like, we know you're on there." So, like, guys, I'm telling you, cheating is cheating, cheating. Honestly, the Browns kind of are affected. He was a help, like he was on the
Advisor.
staff.
He was an
He was on, yeah,
advisor.
he was on like an advisor. He was on the staff 2 years ago, so he got paid by the Browns. And it wasn't like, I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it, but I saw somebody did say earlier that the Patriots and the Browns are just the same. The Patriots are just more successful.
Yeah, that's it. A lot of the same guys on those teams that are successful. I'll never forget when the Patriots played the Falcons in the Super Bowl. A buddy of mine, he's a Falcons fan. He likes the Browns too, but he grew up a Falcons fan. You know, he played 2005 Madden or 04 with Mike Vick, and he just became a Falcons fan. And we were counting the number of former Browns players on both teams. And it was sickening. I wanted to throw up that Super Bowl because the more I watched, the more I realized it happens every year to us.
Remember Barkevious Mingo?
I remember his entrance when the whole crowd used to bark every time he came in. Well, you got some stuff about Barkevious? Oh, I was gonna say what's
no
with Barkevious?
No. Look, I've been out of the game when it comes to athlete relations for a very long time. Okay, none of my friends who used to be in that lifestyle are in that lifestyle anymore. They're all married. They all have kids. Like, they're not, or they're in relationships. They are not a part of that lifestyle. Quick update: the Browns at number 39 took Denzel Boston from Washington, a wide receiver, which does follow what we said.
Look at this. I'm gonna give this commentator his flowers. He said it earlier today. They should have taken Boston over Concepcion. And look, now we have both. That's a good sign. That's a good sign for the Cleveland Browns. They're trying to regroup, and they're trying to allow things to happen. And hopefully one of these guys are number one. Like I said, all offense. And Andrew Berry, I was calling for his head a little bit because he was pissing me off. But every year he just finds a way to sneak into. He drafts good players. At the end of the day, he drafts good players. He makes stupid mistakes and then makes up for it in the draft.
I will say this: out of all the Browns executives, and he's been here. Look, him and Kevin Stefanski were here the longest. We've talked about that. They were here the longest. You may not love him, especially for that Deshaun Watson thing, but Andrew Berry has come in and done a lot with a very, very little. He went out and got Joe Flacco, and the Browns end up going to the playoffs. He saw that Miles was upset and wanted to leave, and somehow convinced him to stay, despite his owner being.
Hold on.
Convinced him to stay with a boatload of money,
with a bag. Look, Myles Garrett can no longer complain about winning or losing. I know you're in this for the love of the game to an extent, but once you take a bag of that amount, you can no longer complain that the team isn't doing things. Since you had a chance, I was huge. I wanted Myles Garrett to go to the Detroit Lions. I would love to see him there. I would have loved it, but he keeps coming up with this drama and complaining. Like, don't complain. You got your bag now. Sit down and take what they gave you.
But even then, like I said, like he got Miles to stay because it was very clear from a lot of NFL insiders, the Browns were shopping him. They were going to give him what he wanted, and somehow they came together. Like, I get people look at the Deshaun Watson of it all and look at the fact that they didn't keep Baker and look at all this stuff, and they're like, oh, he's terrible. And I'm like, no, really think about it. He has kept the Browns core as much as he could of Miles and Denzel and tried to build around them. He went out and got Jerry Jeudy when Jerry Jeudy had come off a great year. He's failed miserably, but look at his moves this offseason. He's looking at the Browns' weaknesses and it's like, okay, our offensive line weak. We gotta do some stuff in free agency and trades. They've gotten better, and now through the draft, wide receiver room, they're getting some wide receivers. Like, so I say just pump your brakes. I was talking to my uncle earlier, and we kind of got into a little argument. He tried to say to me, the Browns are championship or bust, and I had to tell him, I said, the Browns just need to get to the playoffs. They just need to get to the playoffs. You cannot say championship with them.
Autumn.
They just need to get to the playoffs. They just need to have a 500 record.
With the draft and full go right now, we drafted Boston. We drafted Concepcion. We drafted the Samoan. Are there any jerseys from this draft you're looking forward to purchasing?
Honestly,
no. Look, Autumn, for me, I like the name Concepcion. So
honestly, Concepcion is really fun.
That's really a fun jersey. Name. Autumn, you know where you can buy your jersey from?
Oh, David, I know where we can buy.
Do you know where you can get your jersey from?
I do.
It doesn't matter who you're rooting for, whether you're a Raiders fan and you want a Mendoza jersey, whether you're a Browns fan, maybe you're a Kansas City fan. You can find all those jerseys with our sponsor, Fanatics. And we have a word from our sponsor, Fanatics, where you can get all your jerseys from coming up right now.
Fanatics isn't just our name. It's who we are. Loyal, passionate fans dedicated to our favorite teams and the sports we love. That's why we're honored to be able to offer fans the world's largest collection of sports apparel and jerseys from all over the leagues, teams, and players you love. We feature a wide selection of gear from every league, including the NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL, and NCAA merchandise, which allows us to serve fans from football, baseball, hockey, basketball, lacrosse, soccer, and golf, and everything else that gets your heart pumping. Go to fanatics.com by using the QR code on the screen right now to celebrate your teams.
And we also have that QR code listed on the top right corner. So make sure you get your jerseys from Fanatics. We are blessed to have them as a sponsor.
Where my finger is right here.
Yeah. Your finger's all over. I feel like you're poking me in the eye. I feel like you are.
Shout out to Fanatics, though. Yeah, shout out to Fanatics for sponsoring us. David, let's move on.
We have to.
Let's move on to
We're running out of time.
We are. Let's move on to the Cavs. The Cavs are playing in Toronto. They are up 2-1 in the series. They lost last night. 126-104. The game was pretty close. The Cavs had a pretty good two game stretch. Honestly, if they play basketball like that, they're going to win the championship. But their legs kind of fell under them. They only scored 2 points in the fourth quarter. Their game 4 will be this Sunday at 1 p.m. in Canada. Me and you will be on the after the post game to break it all down. What have you liked in this series from the Cavs so far, and what do you think they could do to sort of regain and go up 3-1 in the series and bring it back to Cleveland?
Yeah, of course. So specifically in the first 2 home games, game 1 and game 2, we did a really good job at controlling the tempo of the game, which is really huge, especially against the Toronto Raptors. Game 1, we held them to 1 fast break point. We had 18, which is big because they lead the league in fast break points. So we really have to control that tempo like we did game 1 and game 2. And honestly, I felt like watching the last game, we were in our heads. We were making dumb decisions. We saw a lot of things that I mentioned before. I think I mentioned Strus and how he is in big games. I believe he went 4 from 8. From the field, just in total.
It's Matt Strus.
Man, Strus, when he starts hitting his shots at big times, I'll get his name correct because he pisses me off. I brushed up about this leading into the playoffs when we were talking about it. Things like Dean Wade and Merrill. Our defense actually has to be better, especially away. We let RJ Barrett and
Scotty Barnes
combined for 66 points.
Oh my God, you cannot let those two.
You can't let them. You can't let them do that. It's simple. It was a close game. We were tied at one point in the third quarter. We were able to put together shots, even though he only had 3 points. Schroeder hit a big 3 to try to give us momentum, and the momentum just wasn't there. They couldn't capitalize. I believe Donovan Mitchell had 15 points that last game. We just need more. We need more, especially from our big players at an away game in Toronto. Do not let the Cavs history against Toronto. I believe Toronto's never beat us in a series. A lot of that was LeBronto, and LeBron was capitalizing, but Toronto's never beat us in a series. Don't let them tie the series up going 2-2 coming back to Cleveland.
Yeah, the Cavs are 14-3 against the Raptors. Honestly, from the first two games were amazing. First game, they kind of kept it close, but you saw them pull away in that third quarter. You saw the Cavs just sort of dominate towards the end. I think it was, honestly, by the way, I'm sorry that I haven't been here for the last month. It's been a crazy month. But the game I went to, ironically enough, it was against, I forgot who it was against. I went to a game, I think it was Miami. It was a game against Miami. And I saw how they played. James Harden had to hit shots. It had to have a Max Strus type game, or you have to have of course, your James Harden, your Donovan Mitchells, your Evan Mobleys, your Jared Allens. But you have to have either Strus, Wade, or Merrill come in and be consistent. If one of those 3 are not consistent, you're not going to get a good game. Now, Jalen Tyson, of course, has, stepped up. He's been a really good, serviceable player off the bench. But if you don't get your top 4 plus your Wades, or Strus, or Merrills, it's going to be hard to win. And we kind of saw the Raptors get a little bit of confidence. They pulled away. I think the Cavs are still going to win the series. I think they're just a better team overall. I think the Raptors are not going to get as consistent a play. I mean, you have Brandon Ingram on that team. He hasn't been that consistent. Scotty Barnes and RJ Barrett haven't been super consistent. I think they're gonna take a day, take a beat, say, hey, let's regroup. I think they're gonna come back on Sunday. I don't expect it to be tied, but no, you never know. Anything can happen. But
be tied coming back to Cleveland. You got to go up 3-1.
You have to go up 3-1. You have to, because again, you held down home court. You're one of the very few teams that held down home court. We saw We have seen what's
Look at New
happening in
York.
the league. Oh,
Look at New York.
please,
What? They're down?
You know what?
They're down 2-1
Yes.
right now?
Let's talk about it. We have 10 minutes in the show left. We're gonna get
We
to the
got time.
Guardians. The New York Knicks did a New York Knicks last night, and I have never laughed harder. What the hell was Jalen Brunson doing? You get double teamed. Your player is on the outside. So you know what you decide to do? You say, you know what? I'm going to throw it under. Why would you do that?
It's tough situation. Like, look. Jalen Brunson needs players like Karl Anthony Towns and the other players on that team to show up. He basically it's the Jalen Brunson show right now, and I feel like he feels like he needs to take control. He feels like if he doesn't make the play, who's going to make the damn play? Because we haven't seen anybody making those plays for New York. Even going back to Cleveland in those first 2 games, I saw a lot of things in those wins that I hated, to be completely honest with you. There were a lot of huge mistakes. We beat them in rebounding, which was a key factor to those games. And we even beat them in rebounding in game 3, but we still couldn't pull out the win. We made a lot of mistakes where we were shooting those wide open threes and we got second chance buckets. But the problem is, if we're facing a team, even though New York's down right now, New York, if we're facing that Boston team, if we make it to the Eastern Conference Finals and we see those teams there, those aren't mistakes we can make against those teams. They're going to make us pay. They're going to make us pay. Luckily, Toronto isn't that good of a team to make that happen, and we'll see who we face out of the Orlando-Detroit series. But even
then, that's a hot mess series, because how are you Detroit, the number 1 seed, and letting Orlando wax you in game 1? Like when I say I was at a restaurant and I looked at the score, I said, "Huh?"
It's matchup nightmares. It's matchup nightmares.
And then I had to realize, I was like, oh, Detroit is the number 1 seed because they were good for most of the season, but towards the back end, like they were out without Cade Cunningham, and they kind of had to regroup. But I just every time I see the Knicks do something Knicks like, I just laugh, because I'm like, y'all are like, every time their fan base wins a game. Also, saying fuck Trae Young and he's not even on the Hawks is so stupid.
Crazy.
He beat y'all in a play-in game. That's where it comes. He literally beat them in a play-in game, and they hate him so much. And I'm like, this is not like Tyrese Halliburton doing the choke sign to you again after Reggie Miller. This is not a Heat player. You're doing this about Trae Young, a man who has been consistently having male pattern baldness since he was 20 years old. Okay.
Why he catching a stray like that?
Just let it go at this point. Stop making him grow out, or at least camouflage it. Every time I look at him, I'm like, just shave it. Just shave it. It looks so bad. Just shave it. Just shave it. But yeah, we will be on the post game right after the game. I'm gonna give you a little Guardians update. The Guardians are up 5-3 now. And the Blue Jays just scored. The Blue Jays and the Guardians, or the Toronto Guardians, as I would like to call them, another team where the Guardians just trade all their players there, but I understand why, because Mark Shapiro, the former president of the Guardians, is now the president of the Blue Jays. But Daniel Sheeman and George Valera, and Angel Martinez all have scored. So fingers crossed. We got the rookie Chase DeLauder doing pretty well in the season. Stephen Kwan been performing. Jose Ramirez wins Player of the Week, showing why he's Jose Ramirez. Sheeman is doing fantastic.
Yeah, well, he tried to save us the other night, right? Against the Orioles, he hit that grand slam in the 7th.
Don't even get me started. Don't even get me started on that game.
On my life, because I don't catch a lot of Guardians games. I don't catch.
That game made me so mad.
I love going to the stadium. I love going to the ballpark and spending my day there. Even though I was a fan of the pitch clock all the way up until I went to a Guardians game and I wasn't able to spend my whole day there. That's neither here or there. But watching him hit that grand slam in the 7th inning against the Orioles, giving us the lead 4-0. just for
That
us
game
to
was-
give up a grand slam, our pitching needs to come together. I know
Well,
we're
okay.
tied for number one in the Central right now with the Detroit, but still,
Let me explain that game because I was watching it live.
please elaborate for me.
I watched Sheeman hit that grand slam. I was like, oh, okay. Then I watched Sean Armstrong. Veteran pitcher. I watched him have pitches that when I say, David, I was on the edge of my seat of thinking, like, why the hell why aren't you challenging this with ABS? Like, they were literally on the verge. He loaded the bases, and then he also had a hit by pitch. So he loads the bases. They bring in another pitcher because you have to face at least 3 pitchers. MLB has a rule, it's at least 3. So then you take Armstrong out, you bring another player in. He gets an out. He got 2 outs. And then they scored. He scored. They scored 1 run, and then they got an out. And then a 3-run homer. And I was like, oh, this is bad. But then the next inning, and this is where I was frustrated with that game. I literally told my mom, I was like, I have to turn this off. This is stressing me out. This is stressing me out.
Nothing stresses Autumn out more than baseball.
Oh my God. Literally, I hate it so much. I hate, like, my blood pressure gets so high. My beats per minute. I'm like, I just turn this. I hate to say that. I say, turn this shit off. I can't do it. But Stephen Kwan had a play. And then the Orioles challenged it. When I tell you, it was one of the easiest plays that I've ever seen. And somehow they called him out. And I was like, oh, this is how this game is going. And they lost the game. And I will say this. Their hitting is at where you need it to be this season. They are actually hitting. You know how many times I've watched it? You know how many times I've watched a game and been like, oh my God, this team is so terrible. I hate them so much. Hitting is terrible.
All the time.
Hitting is there this season. It is the bullpen that is losing them games.
It's like
it's not even the starting pitching.
We can't even get them hot.
It's not even the starting pitching. Starting pitching is doing its job. It's the bullpen. I don't understand. You bring in Sean Armstrong, you bring in all these guys, and you guys are literally sucking. That is why the team is losing. It is literally the bullpen. I watched a game where it was St. Louis. It was a St. Louis game. The team was up. Cade Smith let the St. Louis Cardinals come back in the 9th. And I was like, oh my God, this is so terrible. And they end up losing the game in extra innings because of the bullpen.
And it's sad because I feel like what we've seen in the previous years with the Guardians or Indians, whatever you want to call them, it's either one or the other. When our bullpen is hot, we don't have the bats. When our bats get hot, our bullpen is cold. They try to make adjustments before the trade deadline, year in and year out, and it never seems to click and come together. And it's sad.
The greatest year they had was 2016, where everything came together. And the only thing that really fucked that year up, and I will never forgive Major League Baseball for this. Look at me dead in my eyes.
I'm looking at you.
It's always fuck Major League Baseball because it was not raining that night. I walked home. It wasn't raining that night. At 11 o'clock, you decide, it's raining a little bit. Let's have a rain delay. You bitches. You took all the momentum away from the Guardians. You took all Jason Kipnis. Oh my God. If that ball would have went fair, that would have been Don't get me started. I literally, every time I think about that game, I break out of hives. I'm like on the verge of tears.
You're turning red. What's going on?
Because it literally makes me so mad that we could have had a World Series. We could have literally had a World Series and an NBA championship in 1 year. And the fuck ass MLB decided that we didn't want one. We want the Cubs to have one. It would have been funnier if the Cubs didn't have one. And now the fuck ass Cubs have one. And we're still struggling to get one.
We're running up against it.
Oh, yes. Let me quickly update you on the NFL draft. There are now 12 picks in. The Kansas City Chiefs have taken R. Mason Thomas from Oklahoma. Bengals have taken Cassius Howell from Texas A&M. Saints have taken Christian Miller from Georgia. Miami has taken Jacob Rodriguez from Texas Tech. The Lions have taken Derek Moore from Michigan, and the Ravens just took Zion Young from Missouri. And you're about halfway through.
That was a quick recap. I'm excited to see what happens in the rest of this draft.
Oh, one more thing.
Yeah,
I know we're gonna go over a little.
We're gonna go.
I know you were telling
bit.
me about a pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
I want to hear about this pitcher, and then we'll end.
All right, so we have a pitcher, Brandon Woodruff. Okay, are you familiar with Brandon Woodruff? He plays for Milwaukee Brewers.
I'm slightly familiar.
So he plays with the Milwaukee Brewers. He has some kind of beef or something right now. I don't know what it is. There's a player that recently he continued his career with the Boston Red Sox, Wilson Contreras.
That's an old name. That's a throwback name.
For some reason, Woodruff just loves to hit Wilson Contreras. In the last consecutive games they played together, he's hit him a total of 6 times. He's been hit by pitch 6 times. That is absolutely ridiculous. Like, now there's for the icing on the cake, the catcher for the Milwaukee Brewers is Wilson Contreras' brother. So a couple weeks ago, I wanted to bring this up, but we've been off air a couple weeks. He hits Contreras with the pitch again. Boston doesn't clear the bench. The first person to go up to his brother is someone from the opposite team, and he checks on him. At what point does the MLB step in at this? Like, you know me, I'm not the huge baseball guy. That's why I wanted to bring it to your attention. What should the MLB do? Should there be fines involved? You hit him 6 times in a row. What's the personal beef?
Okay, so I'm guessing that Wilson Contreras played for a team that Milwaukee played for often, because 6 times in a career is crazy. Hitting a player once consecutively. Let me look it up real quick because if he just now Wilson Contreras has been in the league for a very long time. Okay, mm-hmm. He's been in the league for a very.
They have 28. They have 28 career matchups.
Yeah, because his brother is William.
Mm-hmm.
So Wilson Contreras. Oh yes, okay. I see why he's hit him a bunch of times. So he played for both the Cubs and the Cardinals. So the Cubs and the Cardinals are in the Central Division along with the Brewers. So I'm like, 6 times is a lot. Like, it's
a lot. It doesn't matter how many times you play someone. 6 times by the same pitcher is out of this world.
So I'm Brandon Woodruff. If he's hit him 6 times, that means either he's a bullpen guy or is he a rotation guy? Because if it's a rotation guy, then that's intentional. That's fully intentional. If it's a bullpen guy, that means you've seen him here and there, and you may have an errant pitch. Okay, but 6 times to hit one person is crazy.
There's no coincidence. There's no coincidence.
Let me just say, 1 hit in Major League Baseball. Well, 1 hit from a bat is crazy. I think I saw a TikTok video from one of my favorite baseball creators. Her name is Kate. Shout out Kate. She asked some baseball players, what does it feel like to like get hit by a pitch? Like, does it like sting still? And they say it depends on where you get hit. They're like, if you get hit in your hands, it's gonna sting for a couple more innings. If you get hit on your legs, it's gonna sting for a while. It's like different places. So 6 different times you have hit this man somewhere.
It's unbelievable.
If I am Wilson Contreras, after the second time, there wouldn't have been a second time.
Right.
The fact that you have hit him 6 times,
it's crazy.
It would have taken God himself to get me off of you.
I would have stormed the plate. I'm not gonna. I would have been fine. I would have been suspended. I would have been suspended. I would have stormed the plate. Like we have one of our commenters here, Chasing Views 840, says I would go to jail. Like, exactly, 6 times is absolutely asinine.
Oh, he looks like it. He's a ginger. I'm sorry.
Hey, relax. Relax. We have souls. All right, calm down.
But this is the thing, is like he himself has talked about it. So I'm gonna see if he's a bullpen guy. It might just be accident, but if he is he's a starting pitcher. It would take God himself to bring me off of you. I'm sorry. God himself to tear me off of your limbs. Because 6 times you have hit me since 2017. Because they both have been in the league since 2017. Yeah, so over the last 10 years, you have hit me 6 times. That means every time we face, there is a probability that you are going to hit me.
Oh, almost a guarantee at this point. Almost a guarantee. Autumn, we're over. We're going to touch on this a little more next week. We're going to do further research, and we're going to dive into, I wonder if they faced each other in college, if there's hits in college. Let's take a deep dive to this drama.
Well, I will say this. He did do an interview post game. Was like, hey, if he hits me again, I don't know.
I want to see what happens. I hope he does. Quick preview to next week, though. Next week, I want to talk about this. Can be my segment. It's USA Boxing is bringing their U.S. National Open to Cleveland, October 3rd. It can generate up to $3.4 million in revenue for the city. It's huge. I'm going to brush up on that next week. Also, I want everybody that visits the Inside Edge Network and the Mic Check Take 2 website to check out all our links. Check out the shows on our website. We have links to everyone's show. We have Jersey Chasers. We have Midnight Run. So many different shows you guys are missing out on. It's not just us. Look at that. Everyone's favorite season, Autumn. We have Chrissy there. It's an amazing show. Make sure you guys check out everything on the network. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. To fantasy football, to wrestling, we cover it all. Mental health. Trust me. You want to tune into the other shows.
Yes. And again, David and I will be here again on Sunday at 3. Yes, at 3. We'll be back Sunday at 3, or whenever the game ends, because basketball is unpredictable and it's the playoffs. Oh, we forgot to talk about one more thing, but I think we should talk about it next week. And I covered it on my show on Jersey Chasers. We have to talk about LeBron James. We'll
talk about the GOAT next week.
We'll talk about him because
we'll talk about him next week.
Yeah, we talked about him a little bit. We got to talk about him again. But yes, tune in on Sunday. David and I will be back for game 4, hopefully. And then if somehow, some way, anything happens, hopefully it doesn't, we will be back for game 7 coverage during Mic Check Take 2. I don't think we're going to have a game 7. I think we're going to have a game. I think it's probably going to go 5 or 6, if that.
Hopefully these gentlemen, they put their suits on, their tie, grab a cigar, and sweep them away.
Yes. Yes, I hope so. I hope it's a gentleman sweep too, as well.
All right. Everyone, thanks for tuning in to Mic Check Take 2 on the Inside Edge Network. I was your host, the DAVID, the Real Ruiz, and we have Jersey Chasers' very own Autumn Chisholm. Until next time.
I'm just Autumn. It's not just Jersey Chasers. I'm just Autumn. Okay.
Just Autumn.
I spread the love everywhere.
Whatever, Autumn. We'll see you guys next week.